Hey guys, and welcome to another GCSE Grade 9 Maths exam question. So for this question, we're dealing with inequalities. So looking at this, I think it looks a bit trickier than it actually is. What you've got to understand is what we're actually looking to find. So we're given two inequalities here. We've got this linear inequality here, 3n plus 2 is less than or equal to 14. And we have this funny looking inequality over here. So we've got 6n divided by n squared plus 5 is greater than 1. And we have to find all the possible values of n. So first, I think the easiest way to do this is deal with the linear inequality first. So hopefully it's nice and easy. We've got 3n plus 2 is less than or equal to 14. So first step, we need to deal with the plus 2. We need to get this in terms of n. So deal with the plus 2, we're going to subtract. We need to balance this side. So because this is plus 2, you do the opposite, subtract 2. So that's going to give me 3n is greater than or equal to 12. And then finally we just divide 3 by the 3. So therefore n must be less than or equal to 12 divided by 3 to give me 4. So we know straight away that n must be less than or equal to 4 for this inequality here. But we also have this inequality, that is an integer on this side as well. So how do we deal with this one? Well, this is actually going to be a quadratic inequality. And to deal with it first, I'm going to multiply through by the denominator here. So I've got n squared plus 5. So I'm going to times both this side, the left hand side, and the right hand side of the inequality by n squared plus 5. So if I do that, well, the left hand side, 6n divided by n squared plus 5. If I times that by n squared plus 5, what that's just going to leave me with is 6n, right? So this side will be 6n. And that's greater than 1 times this. So it's going to be 1 times n squared plus 5. So that's just going to be n squared plus 5. So this is now a quadratic inequality and we need to solve it now. So to solve this now, we need to get it all in terms of just one side. So I'm going to take this 6n across and keep the n squared positive. So that's going to be 0 is greater than n squared minus 6n plus 5. So this looks a bit tricky and this can confuse a lot of students, but don't let it daunt you. What this is saying is that 0 is bigger than this inequality here. So if 0 is bigger than this inequality here, then this inequality must be less than 0. You're just sort of flipping it the other way around. So we can write that as n squared minus 6n plus 5 is less than 0. Now here, to figure out how this inequality is solved, and I always say this to all students, draw a sketch. So you're going to see some of my bad art skills here. So let's have a look at this. So before we can draw it, we need to factorize this. So what's that going to be? So that's going to be n minus 1, and I'm going to have n minus 5. And this is less than 0. So where does this cut through the x-axis? So this is the x-axis, and this is the y. So again, it's just a sketch, it doesn't need to be perfect, but it's going to cut through at 1, and it's going to cut through at 5. And it will cut through the y-axis at 5 as well. So this is probably going to look terrible when I actually draw it. So it's going to look something like, I should have drawn it a little higher. Not bad, not bad. Should have been a little bit further there, but yeah. So it's going to look something like that. It's just a positive parabola. So from here now, because this is saying that the values have to be less than 0, what that means is, whereas the graph showing that it's below the x-axis, well, that is this point here in this little bit here, this little bit of the curve. But we can't have all these values, because n has to be less than or equal to 4. But this inequality here now is 1. So n lies between 1 and 5. But we know here that n has to be less than or equal to 4. So what are the values we can have? Well, let's look at them. This is 2, 3, 4 and 5. So that's 2, 3, 4 and... sorry, that's just it. 2, 3 and 4. And here it has to be less than or equal to 4. So obviously that can be everything less than or equal to 4. So that means this is just my final answer here. The values that n can be, the possible values, is going to be 2. So it's going to actually look like this. It's going to be 2 here, 4 there. And what we actually want is these values here. everything between 2 and 4. Them are the possible values. And that's it, that's the full question done.